Hey guys, so I have Sector 2 for you in this Conquest series. I will be totally upfront. This is still ridiculous. CG is supposed to be implementing a fix at some point today on the 4th. As of like recording this, it obviously hasn't gone live, and I had been trying to film my battles and everything and record everything so that we could make our way through this sector and get the feats done. I am going to go over everything. And then at some point after the patch happens, assuming everything is fixed, I will post a separate video going over the boss feats that I've missed in this sector, because to be totally honest with you, my goal today was to just get through. I was stuck. I could not beat the boss. And I spent close to 300 energy just kind of like moving data discs around, trying different combos, trying different consumables, all that kind of stuff. But we'll go over it. Hopefully it'll be much easier for you guys once the fix happens. But like I said, I didn't do all of the feats on the bosses because my goal was to just get through this sector. So before we hop in and look at the feats, though, I do want to say again, thank you to all of my patrons. Truly appreciate the support. You make it very doable for me to be able to spend the crystals to swap my data discs around and buy energy nonstop in Conquest, which makes it great for this point, like right now when we need it. But let's look at the feats for the sector. So I was able to work on all of these, making my way through. It was just the boss nodes that were being extremely problematic, but pretty straightforward. Defeating 10 enemies with Saw Gerrera. This is going to be super easy, especially if you have Jedi Master Luke. If you don't have Jedi Master Luke, I'm hearing there might be a bug in your favor for this, which I'll let you know about. 14 battles with no support in your squad. So Saw is a support character, so keep that in mind that you can't double dip with him there while you're working on this. Attempt to inflict burning 60 times and attempt to inflict plague 200 times. They're overall not awful feats, and we can get through them pretty good. So let's look at the gameplay. Like I said, the boss feats in this video are going to be limited because I really was just concerned with getting through it. So again, once it's fixed, I will try to put out a separate boss video for this sector and specifically, and then hopefully going forward with sector 3 and 4 and 5, it will be a lot smoother. But yes, we'll look at everything here. All right, so let's start with something really simple, which is Saw kills, basically defeating 10 enemies with Saw Gerrera. And if you have Jedi Master Luke, this is going to be ridiculously easy to get done. First of all, it's only 10, so it's going to be fast. But Jedi Master Luke is basically going to be able to call Saw every time, essentially. And you're going to want to do Jedi Master Luke and Saw, obviously. Wat, put the taunt onto Luke, and then take 2 other Jedi. I personally just like to take Shock and GMY whenever I'm doing these types of feats with Jedi Master Luke. And essentially you just put the tank tech on Luke, and then I always open with his AoE just to kind of get a little bit of control out there and some debuffs. Really standard gray volatile accelerator, 1 green amplify agony on at this point, and a caustic emissions disc. It's not anything crazy special. And then you're just going to use the leadership ability to call Saw and get the kills that way. So this is a Gear 12 Saw that's doing it. I have heard from multiple people that when you bring him along on the team, he seems to be providing credit for a kill anyway. So whether or not that's consistent, I don't know, but you can get it done pretty quickly, especially if you go against a Mon Mothma node, even faster than this. Okay, so next I have 0 of 200 plague right now. And I thought this would be a little grindier than it is. It seems like it's going to go decently well. So again, really straightforward volatile accelerator disc, 1 amplify agony, and a caustic emissions. Nothing crazy as of yet. This is the Night Sister squad that I run typically. As you can see, 3 of them are gear 12, so they're not crazy overpowered. You're not going to be able to get the no support feat with this because so many of the Night Sisters are support characters. So just keep that in mind while you're making your way through and working on this. So I like to use the Night Sisters against Grievous squads. I find it pretty reliable. What I also really like about this is if you just kind of ignore Watt, you do have the opportunity for him to revive any characters and kind of prolong the battle that way. You don't have to win for this feat, right? Like you're just attempting to inflict plague. If you do win, awesome. If you don't, I mean, no harm, no foul, in my opinion. Obviously, it's better if you do and you can make your way through the sector. This was really great, though, with Droideka because she is able to cleanse herself and she can go into damage immunity. It does just make the battle drag out even longer. Obviously, regenerating protection, things like that. So if you can get the damage immunity off of her with Asajj, which is generally pretty easy with her first special, and then that way you can have plague land, you're able to just continually stack more plague on top of Droideka here and add to your tally that way while you're dragging out the battle. So really, really straightforward in my opinion. And we ended up ending that battle specifically with 27. So not the end of the world, pretty easy to ramp up while you're making your way through the sector and then going back and just cleaning it up on the Datacron node if you have to, and just my discs for reference. Okay, so same discs here, and I want to work on burning. There are a couple of characters that can inflict it, so depending on your roster, I personally really like to use R2 for burn since he's got an AoE, and we're sitting at 4. Jango has one. One of the Inquisitors has one. I think it's 8th. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there are a couple of characters that have it, so you're able to do it that way. So I'm obviously taking in R2. You can use him on whichever squad realistically. I like to use him on a Galactic Republic team. And the reason why I want to take him with Kenobi, I did misplay it just for argument's sake here. Instead of giving the cooldown reset to Cat right away, I should have held it. And that way you can get a burn off with R2 right away. And then on Kenobi's second turn, reset R2's burn to get another set of burning right away as well that way. Honestly, not the end of the world in my opinion though. And you can get through the node decently quickly while you're making your way through. He is a support, so keep that in mind if that is a factor for you at all in terms of double dipping. That is just specifically burning alone with that team because you're using R2. So we get 5. If I hadn't misplayed, it would have been probably closer to 10. Just something to keep in mind. Another thing you can do is a Grievous team with Jango. So 2 things that will happen here. Jango will immediately get his payout, which means he's going to start with damage immunity. So keep that in mind for a later sector. But he does have an AoE burn. So as long as you don't kill the enemies with his special when he does it, you would inflict burn that way and get credit for it. And he is an attacker with this squad. So you actually will get credit for no support on your team as well. So full disclosure, I don't get credit because I obviously got the kill shot. But if you didn't get the kill shot with him, you would get credit for it. I chose to keep it, obviously, just because I'm getting credit for the no support at the same time. So take that for what it's worth. All right, so let's look at Sector 2, the mini boss specifically. I am going to get a feat done here. We're going to work on no Jedi, Sith, unaligned Force users. Pretty straightforward. I do still only have Volatile Accelerator, Caustic Emissions, and Amplify Agony equipped. So nothing over the top here in terms of what we're using. I went in though with Hutt Cartel because this is going to count as well towards the 40 wins with Hutt Cartel for the global feat. Obviously, I want to get as many of those done as possible. So nothing too crazy. It's pretty standard, pretty straightforward. You're not really double dipping here in terms of anything else because Jango, unfortunately, is not a Hutt Cartel character, so you can't drag him along for burn or anything like that. Also important to remember that Jabba is a support character, so you're not going to get credit for no support units on your team when you do it this way as well. You will, however, at least get the boss feat done of no Jedi, Sith, and unaligned Force users, so that is something, and it does get through the boss decently well, even with how ridiculously overpowered and crazy they are. So that is that. Really straightforward, and we will get the credit here. And I'll show you another team really quickly, just in case you don't have Jabba. Okay, so this is on the Professor X account, and you can go in with a General Grievous squad. I did take Newt as my 5th only because I really wanted to make sure I would be able to get it done, and I like to make use of Newt's extortion ability. So keeping that in mind, Newt is a support character, so you can't double dip that way. However, if you were to take Newt out and sub in someone like Jango or Droideka, you would be able to double dip for no support. Jango would be able to get you burned theoretically. But again, I really just wanted the control, especially because this is still when Conquest is so overtuned. In terms of discs, again, just a regular volatile accelerator, a gray one, a green amplify agony. I do have a caustic emissions on, and on this account, I have a blind side equipped as well. But pretty straightforward. You're basically just playing the job, or the Grievous team how you normally would. I do like to keep the turn meter little widget guy open so that I can kind of go after who is going to attack next and keep the team controlled that way and try and keep as many of them alive as possible. Obviously, Grievous is killing his own allies at the same time. So Magna is gonna sadly die off there, but you're able to get through it at the very least and make your way to the boss node. All right, guys, so we are at the boss here. Like I said, I spent an absolute ridiculous amount of time banging my head against this friggin' wall because I was stuck. So I want to show you my discs. This is what I ended up going with equipped. This is like the best that I could kind of do here. And then I'm going to use boosters. So I bought an overcharged offense booster. I'm going to use my overcharged health med pack. And then I equipped one of the Moff Gideon summons. It does work on this boss where you will summon a Moff Gideon. And I actually found that tech to be really helpful just because Gideon will hit really hard when he gets his turn. So if you haven't used it already, we have 5 of them apparently. I definitely would recommend doing it. The squad that I'm going to go in with is CLS, which I was a little bit doubtful on. I had tried it a couple of times. It didn't work. It did end up working once I added the offense booster, the Gideon summon, and I tweaked my discs a little bit more. That's when this kind of all clicked together. So I have sped this up just because it is a little bit lengthy. You're going to shoot Leia right away. No one's going to assist. Han's not going to shoot twice. And then you're going to dispel Chrysanthemum's taunt with Luke. I found that to be really important. And then again, you want to just go all in on Leia as much as possible. No one's assisting because of her deadly bluff, whatever nonsense thing here. But I was trying to use as many specials as I could and just hammer her down here. So, like I said, Gideon is going to get his turn. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do here with him. I didn't know if I really wanted to get defense up. I didn't know if I wanted him to taunt. I wasn't too sure exactly. And I ended up deciding just to basic, which you can see did a huge hit on Leia. And I honestly think that that was kind of what tipped me over the edge in getting to kill her so quickly. Now that she's out of the way, though, we can kind of make our way through the rest of them and we can start playing as normal because that deadly bluff nonsense is gone. So we're able to get the assists going that way. And again, wanting to kill Chrysanthemum here as quickly as possible because Jabba's going to revive him, but I also want to be able to survive Jabba's ultimate. Which we will get a little bit lucky with because you can see that I've got Voluntary Vanguard on and it's obviously marked C-3PO. But we're going to go again, now that Chrysanthemum's gone, just going all in on Jabba. Jabba's going to do his lovely little ultimate here, eat Gideon, and that's fine because Gideon, in my opinion, did his job. And now it's just a matter of removing Turn Meter from Jabba, getting all the debuffs on him, and just hammering him down until he's dead. I think this worked really nicely, to be honest. And this is, again, before the next fix that is supposed to go live. So if you have this squad, I would just spend like the 15 Conquest currency and buy that booster if you don't have it, the offense one, and go through that way. Okay, guys, so that is Sector 2. Like I said, all of this was during the bug craziness, absolutely ridiculously overtuned mode of it. And I'm really hopeful that at some point today we're going to see that update from CG. We're going to see apparently a make good. We'll see what we get out of that, what it includes, because I think that is going to be pretty important and pretty steep given the fact that, you know, our datacrons have expired now and a lot of us couldn't farm materials that we needed to farm. So hopefully it's all smooth though, like I said, and we can have a look at the next sectors. I'm hoping to pick up the pace on them for you because I know, one, you want to see like what the best thing to do is, and also it's just nice to get out ahead a little bit of you just in general to help out that way. Hopefully I can make that happen because all of this just kind of threw a wrench in my plans for the week. So with all that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you're doing different things, I always love to know about it. And I think it's really helpful to put it in the comments below anyway, regardless of it being fixed, not fixed, etc. And I will see you tomorrow with Sector 3, which may be fixed in my video, may not be fixed in my video, just full disclosure. All right, guys. Thank you again for watching. Appreciate it.